right, welcome everybody. Today is Wednesday, February 10th, and this is an update on the North Tonawanda City School District and what's going on since we've been in this sort of COVID hybrid remote learning. So, not a ton of updates this week, which I guess is good news. Nothing new with the Department of Health, except they are very busy because those people who were lucky enough to get their first vaccine are scheduled their second round of vaccines now. So in addition to the new ones getting it, they also have everybody who's already done starting to come back, I guess, starting this week. So on our usual Tuesday meeting, the Dan Stapleton was not able to join us because they said they were very, very busy at their Lockport site. So we did ask a few questions about certain things, and some things have been coming up about what will happen, in the next couple of months. So he does anticipate that the governor will start to give us direction on that as far as gatherings, indoor and outdoor, masks, no masks, social distancing. These are all the things that public entities still have to deal with. So we are just sort of waiting. As soon as we know, you'll probably know because it'll be on the news. But then we have to decipher what that means for public schools. So we're constantly waiting for that. We constantly meet. Principals are trying to come up with plans for what's going to happen in the coming months. We know that parents would like their kids back 5 days a week, and so that's always our goal, is to try to get back to that. Coming up, though, next week, Monday the 15th, is President's Day, and it is a holiday, so there is no school on that day. And that is also a day that we typically have the lunch pickup. And the memo from the kitchen is, due to the holiday on Monday, February 15th, curbside meal distribution has been bumped one day to Tuesday, February 16th at the same time in the same places, but you will go on the 16th, which is Tuesday. There will be curbside pickup as scheduled the day after as well on Wednesday the 17th. And we're going to post that on social media, and I believe there's going to be a global call going out to everybody about that. So hopefully everyone who needs those meals can take advantage of that. Last week I announced that we have our resource line through our Family Support Center, and they're working on a number of things. One of them is going to be some informational flyers for Erie and Niagara County for people who need that kind of assistance as well, and how we can get those home to families and in their hands. I met with them earlier this morning and decided that we would also scan some of those in and put them on the web page under the family resource page. So if you are in need, be it heat, electric, food, rent, that kind of thing, or you know someone that is looking for that, please direct them to our page, because we'd be happy to get them hooked up with people that specialize in that and can help them so that they do better and get past these hurdles that everyone seems to be facing. The other thing that we're waiting on, which we think will come in a couple weeks, start in a couple weeks, but should probably be decided early next week, is what the spectator rule will change to for winter sports. It seems like Section 6 is going to revisit that. I know that through Erie and Niagara County there were a couple of sports teams that were taken offline, so to speak, because of COVID cases. And part of the regulation was if there's a positive COVID case with a team member, that we have to quarantine for the 10 days. So that was on the news this morning. I was watching, and hopefully those are not big spreader cases, and we can get back to those sports games. They are not here in North Tonawanda or Niagara County. They were Erie County. So let's hope it stays there for the time being, and that we can continue with our practices and get spectators back in. They're talking about one or two per player, having a system to allow spectators in for those events. So we'll see. I think they meet Friday morning. So if there's an update, we'll get that out right away for when that'll start. I know the talk A week ago was that if they did reassess it and do it, it might start as early as February 22nd for those type of things. Any word on when modified sports can resume and do makeups like the modified swim team? So our modified teams that are going to be in the winter are starting the 22nd. If you have not heard or you're waiting for a specific team, I'd call the athletic office and see exactly where that is, but we're scheduled to do the basketball, I know, for modified specifically on the 22nd of February. Will the rest of the year stay hybrid and remote? So currently, it changes daily. We're hopeful that some things will change with the social distancing piece, but it's going to depend on the vaccine, number one, how many people can get that. We know there's a shortage of people being able to get that. And then the governor seems to be lessening things up. We are prepared to stay in hybrid mode and the remote mode. But as soon as we get the green light, that is our goal, is to be back to normal. So right now, there's no magic crystal ball that I know that we're going to stay one way or the other. I think, though, if we get to the end of April and we're still in hybrid and remote, they'll probably finish the year that way. I know that right now the state across New York State, the New York Regents is doing a survey on state testing, which includes the Regents exams and the 3 through 8 testing that they give, and if they're going to try and administer that still or if that will be waived. So we haven't had confirmation on that either yet. So I think a lot of these will go hand in hand. And remember, when it's a state issue, not just the North Tonawanda issue, they have to look at everyone. And there are some school districts who did not open fully, or they're still in all remote. So how those kids would take a Regents exam might be at a disadvantage. So we'll see how that plays into their decision. Yeah, so have you started working on the reopening plan for the fall? Many districts have gone back to full time. Is this going to be an option? So our plan for the fall will be worked on over the summer. So what we're working on is if we can open, we're going to open, right? There's not a lot of work to do. We know how to open. Hopefully, everything gets lifted and is restricted. There may be mask wearing or something like that still has to take place, and we'd let you know. But what we're looking at is if we're still in hybrid, how can we do it better? Is there a way to do it better at the K-6 level? Is it better at a K-3 level? Is there a way to do more days with students right out of the get-go? So those are the things that we are working and planning on for September if we can open fully. The hope is that we will open fully. There is no pool for the modified team to use. The varsity team is using the pool at NTI because the heater is still broken. So interesting on that heater, that pool's been a problem since they put it in 2000. Hard to believe that new area there with that pool is 21 years old, but it is. But we ordered that way back in, I want to say August or September. And what was happening is things were shut down, right? So it wasn't a big need, or they weren't considered essential employees to be making these pool heater type things. So we've started calling them weekly last month to sort of see where it is, and they assure us that it's being worked on and being shipped. So we also had an outside company come in to see if there was a quick fix to get it up and running until the new part came in. So we are working on the high school pool to get that up and running. When the boys varsity team finishes their season, then the girls season starts. Yeah, we run into a lot of back-to-back, those types of things. But if the restrictions were to get less restrictive and we could do double practices or something like that, and there's a way to do it so that, and there's other schools with their modified swim team up and running. Right now we're not missing it as far as some schools are doing it and some aren't, because as a section they decided to push that. And I know they're looking at a number of things to come in the future for what we could do in the spring and double up and do some things out of the normal season. So we need to, it is nice for the kids to have their sports, right? And the musicals and the plays and that, and they're all suffering a little bit with how to do that. I know that the drama department at the high school is working on a play right now that they'll be releasing through video for those kids to get some experience on that. But we've got to realize these aren't normal times, right? If we could open up and run all the sports, we would definitely would. So I want you to know that if there's a way to run a modified season at a different time, we will do it. If there's a way to do something later and still have the same kids involved, we'll definitely try and do that. So remember about the lunches on President's Day, because there's no school. That'll be Tuesday and Wednesday, and you'll get lunch pickup at same time and place at Spruce and the high school at the regular times, but it'll be Tuesday and Wednesday instead of Monday and Wednesday. We are also hoping to move into March with hopefully some warmer weather. It's been very cold, but luckily not a lot of snow. I've covered this before about snow days, and that sometimes snow days are no power days. Sometimes we have power, but surrounding areas don't, and we have staff that works in all cities and towns around us. So to sort of say we would just do a virtual school day isn't a guarantee, right? So we probably will still have some snow days. That doesn't mean that there wouldn't be virtual work available or posted if the teacher has time to do that. So those are still there. The way that they've given school districts permission on snow days is that we have to have 180 day of student attendance for state aid. So typically when we got past 3 or 4 built-in snow days, we started to panic because we had to make up days. Sometimes in really bad years, which luckily hasn't been in the last 10, we had to take off like an Easter vacation and call kids back sooner so we could get in the 180. Sometimes we extended in June, but that's hard because of the regent's schedule. So in a bad case, like an October storm that we had in this area where schools were closed for over a week, that's where this sort of virtual learning might come in handy for districts down the road. But if it's not safe to travel, we're not going to be asking teachers to come into the buildings either to teach from there. And we don't know what their home situation might be with power or no power. So we will still possibly have real snow days where you stay home and stay safe and don't get into trouble. So if there's any other questions. All right. So we do have a double Facebook Live next week, which is the 17th, because we have a policy and budget meeting with the board in the evening. And when that meeting is done, I will come on and do a evening Facebook Live for parents who work during the day and can't get on to ask their questions. Also remember that if you do post comments in the Facebook Live, even after it's done, and you just watched it maybe at 5 o'clock at night, those will send us reminders, and we try to get those questions answered through Facebook or send them to the building, if it's a specific building, to get back to you. How much has the percentage changed from kids going hybrid to full remote in the high school? Any possibility of numbers drop for the hybrid kids to go 4 days a week? Well, it's one of the things that all school districts, we've talked about, the superintendents, is that it's been very fluid. All right. So the older children have seemed to wanted to be hybrid, be remote, be hybrid, be remote. So it's something that changes on a daily basis and fluctuates. So we're currently in the process of looking at what sizes are the average, and then if we can fit, let's say, 14 kids in a room and we're average only 12, we are looking at those rooms. It gets difficult at the high school level though, because kids take 5 or 6, 7, 8 different classes sometimes, and while there's room in 3 of their classes, 4 of their classes might be full. So it's not easy just to say, oh, let them come back because there's room on this day in this room. We have to look at the Tuesday, Thursday compared to the Monday, Friday room, what the average is, and then look at all 7 or 8 classes that they have. Phys ed becomes a problem because of the social distancing too. So those class sizes have to stay small. So it's not as easy as it would sound, and maintain the social distancing. All right. All right. So remember, you can ask questions after this session. Please share it with people so that even though there's not a ton of breaking news in this one, they can ask their questions if they have them and get the latest and hear about the lunches. Like I said, we'll be sending a global call as well. If you are a person watching this who have not updated your contact information or email or cell phone numbers, please let the school know that, because we're in the process, and very shortly we hope to have a new global calling system where we can text as well as email, instead of just the phone call. Because what we notice sometimes, if you don't answer the call because you say, oh, it's the school, or you listen to it and then you hit the wrong button, you can unsubscribe yourself from the phone calls. So we've seen that happen. And also, if your voicemail is full and you don't answer your phone, you won't get the message. So we're hoping that by emailing or texting, those problems will go away. So that when it's convenient for you, you can look at it and you'll get the message. So we're on our way to do that, and we hope everybody stays safe and healthy. All right. If you are a first responder, we hope that you're getting the vaccine if you choose to get it, and that you're staying safe. And we wish everyone a long, happy weekend. We have Valentine's Day and President's Day. Doesn't happen very often where they're back to back. So take advantage of that. Stay safe and healthy, and stay warm. And we will be back on the 17th with a double session. Thank you.